Welcome to Metricon Stadium in this round 16 Father's Day clash between St Kilda and Hawthorn. Both sides obviously keen for a win, but it means so much more to St Kilda, who have been likely finalists all year. This is a match, Brad Johnson and Cam Mooney, that the Saints simply need to win with a couple of tough ones ahead. Well,
yeah, good afternoon, Hutto. You're spot on there. When we look at have a look at the ladder at the moment, St Kilda sitting 7th, 32. They have to lock this one away, Moons, and they have to win quite well because their percentage at 113 at the end of the day with a massive win up to over 120 would be enormous for this football club with what they've got coming up, Moons, in terms of GWS and the West Coast Eagles.
Look, you're right. Look, we know where Hawthorn is sitting right at the moment, so the story really is, can St Kilda keep their spot in the 8, Hutto, and that's going to be the big question. But we have a look at the ins and outs for St Kilda, and the big one right now is King going out, just with the late withdrawal being managed, with Abbott coming in, Loney and Marsh in as well, with Membrey and Hine out. But Membrey and King, they're two key forwards, so it's going to be a really big struggle to see who kicks their goals.
Yeah, I think we're all flat. We're not going to see Max King in action because he shows so much promise. But what it means, it makes it a very interesting exercise to watch how the Saints compensate for that, Jono.
Yes, sure will, in terms of the way they do structure up in the forward line. They will be very, very tall at certain stages. And we look at the Hawks, wow, look at the ins that they've had today. You've got 7 ins there, Dave Frost-Shields, more Morris Greaves and Morrison. There's got experience that have gone out of the lineup as well. Stratton, Burgoyne and McAvoy being the main 3 there. And they will miss Impey as well. They've been up and down throughout the year in terms of the injuries and missing games. And he had spark to what they need to do either in the forward line or down the back.
We saw Damon Greaves on screen there a moment ago. He showed a bit in the one Marsh Cup game he played earlier in the year. It was against the Saints, had 17 disposals. Speaking of disposals, there's no trouble these guys getting the footy, Mitchell and Warple, but it's the impact they can have on Hawthorn hitting the scoreboard is where they'd love a lift.
Well, Mitchell's always the one that's going to get a lot of ball, isn't he? But we know he's probably not going to have the huge score involvements because he's a handball player. Warple's probably the one. We know he's a young best and fairest winner, John. He's the one that's actually got to get on the end of those handballs and start putting the ball inside 50. Along with O'Meara, he's got to be that player. We know Mitchell's not going to be that player, so I'm not too worried about Mitchell's stats there on score involvements. But I want to see Warple, I want to see O'Meara lift their numbers and get that ball inside 50.
Yeah, get out the front of the contest, allow them to break and use the ball inside forward 50. Mitchell gets to his teammates, so it's their responsibility to use it to get his score involvements up.
Well, the Saints, we know they've had a very promising season and they're desperate to play finals. One area that's dropped off, and it was their efficiency heading into the 50. It was a strength of theirs earlier in the year. An example of that, they lost to Melbourne in their last match by 3 points. They had 16 more inside 50s than the Demons, and yet they went down.
That's right. They just didn't get it right when it hit the ground, and Melbourne were able to clean up too often. So, look, you look at the close losses they've had throughout the year as well, Hutto, and it's sort of a little bit of a reflection there, and they sit where they do on the ladder at the moment. There's 3 of those 4 that they'd love to have back. You know that, to sit well and truly entrenched in the 8, even fighting for a top 4 spot, if they were able to claim a couple of those close losses.
From a neutral point of view, as you said, the toss of the coin. And Jared Geary in game number 200, we'll talk more about that as the day goes, but what an unbelievable warrior he's been for his footy club. So it's a big afternoon for him, and the Saints really need to honour that with a win if they can. Let's get down to Alistair Lynch. He's been watching a lot of footy, and he's got a double header today, Lynchy. Good afternoon to you.
Couldn't be happier seeing so much footy here in the southeast Queensland corner. Looking forward to this game as well. As you touched on, the Saints have had a couple of narrow losses in recent weeks, and they'll want to bounce back and bounce back hard. And it's on the back of Jack Steele, who's been an outstanding player since he crossed from GWS, realistically. His last 2 years, he's finished 3rd in the best and fairest, mainly as a tagging player. But today and this year, he's been their outstanding midfielder. Rates very highly in the league for a number of aspects, and certainly at the St Kilda Footy Club. Currently sits 4th in the coaches' votes for the season in the AFL, and he'll be another star today. As Moons was touching on, if it's one of the midfielders that gets away from St Kilda in the Hawthorn midfield, Jack Steele will still go to him, but more often than not, he's the one getting tagged these days. Yeah,
it's been a change. He's talked about it during the week, about the discussion he had with Brett Ratton at the end of last year.
A great rise.
Yeah, let off the chain instead of being the tagger. He's now free to try and cause havoc himself, and it's helped by the players he's had around him, I'm sure, this year, the strengthening of the midfield in the likes of Jones and then Hill on the outside. So we'll see how he goes today. But Jack Steele, he might even poll okay in the Brownlow. You never know. He's had...
Well, clearly their best and fairest leader at this stage. Brett Ratton there sitting on the bench. See their recent history. very close games. We know, and sometimes, Jono, as you said a little bit before, doesn't matter who you're playing or where they are on the ladder. Just sometimes teams match up well with each other. And as we can see, hopefully we get something along the lines of what we've seen over the last couple of games.
Well, round 4 last year, it was a tight game all day. The Hawks had a few injuries, but Seb Ross had 39, Billings had 34, and Loney, who's come in today, kicked 3 goals, 5. So he'd love to get an opportunity to hit the scoreboard again this afternoon without their keys in Membrey and King. Let's get into it. The Hawks coming off a really disappointing loss. They become the first team to lose to Adelaide in the season last week, and we know Clarko won't have taken that too well. So he'll have them nice and fired up. Ross gets the first meaningful possession. He's got depth on it. Well judged.
Geez, Abbott had every opportunity there to really stake his claim early in this game. Hutto just went, Jono went straight through his hands.
He did, and Scrimshaw has been very good for the Hawks. He's improved as a young player in this competition. He's gone to a whole new level with his game.
Comes off a 22 possession game against the Crows. Patton's had an excellent season as well for the Saints. So how are we expecting the Saints to set up, do you think, up forward?
Well, Bradley Hill is a forward who's coming up to the contest, so he'll be the extra mid that does come up. So they'll have to be careful with Hawthorn dropping one back.
So Ryan Abbott, the ex-Cat, who has limited opportunities there, has gone to the Saints. He's in for his first game this year. Started forward, as the boys said. The Hawks on the move. And fantastic delivery for Lewis from Gunston. What a player he still is, Jack Gunston. It's been a tough year for Mitch Lewis. He's just coming in for his 6th game. He's only kicked the 2 goals, so this can be a real boost to his confidence early.
Well, Gunston, he edged his bets there, didn't he? He didn't quite go to the contest. And let's have a look at, not sure who he's actually playing on, but his opponent went for the ball, actually missed it. And then the ball got tapped over to Gunston, who on the right peg, just a beautiful kick across his body.
So it's Plum in front, as you can see, and a fantastic start for Mitch Lewis. And the Hawks get the first.
Great start. He only had 4 disposals last week, so that's the perfect start for Lewis. Get in the game early, get on the scoreboard. And we see here out of contest, but just watch the tap on by Hardwick, who's actually started forward for the Hawks. He played his juniors as a forward as well. So he's involved here with that tap over the top to Gunston. And then just the smarts. How quick's that kick? How effective? Lewis wasn't even looking when Gunston pulled the trigger on that kick, but got it to the right spot at the right time.
We just have a look here. I think it's Cofield came off, and there it is. He just missed the ball, and that's his man Gunston, who the ball got tapped to. Had every right to have a shot there, Gunston, being their leading goal kick. He's had quite an exceptional year, considering where they are on the ladder. But that is just unselfish. And you're right, Joe. He kicked it before Lewis ever knew it was coming to him. Clarko pretty happy with that one.
Oh, he should be. And you know what? I'm interested now with Hardwick playing forward just to see how he goes in this role for the Hawks.
Yeah, well, as you said, he was as a junior, he was a small forward. And he gets his chance. Dylan Moore also coming into the team this afternoon for the first time this year. Shields, one of those on the in, and this man is on the rise. He's also an inclusion as he gets it as long as he can, Dave. But there's Howard getting back to take the intercept mark. He's been a fine addition to the Saints team. A little flutter as he kicked that one to Geary. The Saints are going to work their way out at a fairly slow pace. Patton. Ben Long looking for the shortest of short passes along the line. He decides to go longer than that. Tosses it up, gives everyone a look at it in the air. Batted away from Marshall, Mitchell and Scully, who just looked like he was starting to find some form last week. Cousins has been an excellent inclusion over the last month. It was a searing pass to O'Brien, who couldn't quite hang on. Ross with a clearing ball. Marshall got it to it once and then twice. And then Ryder got involved as well. Marsh was darting every which way to get back and find some help. He found it with Billings. Set up kick to a one-on-one. But Loney tried to engage early on Howe. And the Hawks are going to have a bit of time and space on their hand as Morrison came away. Now they can work their way through the middle of the ground, or can they? Marsh squeezes the handball out, and Steele comes strongly back the other way. It turns it straight over to Frost.
Well, it's a couple of inside 50s now for St Kilda, where they just haven't been able to set up, particularly the first one, but that second one was just a really poor kick from Steele.
And plenty of space to work in for Chad Wingard. Excellent again last week. Gets the handball moving through the middle. The dash comes from Day. Again, a misdirected kick. Gives the Saints an opportunity to hit hard the other way. Sinclair got Hill going into the space. Billings, the path ahead is clear for the Saints as Marsh takes the mark in the pocket. And that goes back to settle down and have a shot.
And look, I love the fact that Day tried to pull the trigger back through the middle. He had the courage to take that kick, and I hope he keeps, even though he missed it, John, I hope he keeps trying for it. But this is the problem when you do miss it. It's just going to go straight back down the middle, and St Kilda get a nice, easy inside 50 mark.
Yeah, you've got to keep encouraging the run, no doubt about that. He's missed 2 now. He's had 2 where he's been on the bolt, and he just hasn't hit them well. Direct turnovers.
So Marsh is playing the role of Tim Membrey effectively today as he came into the team, clips the post, and that's only a minor for the Saints.
And as you might be able to tell, St Kilda are kicking with a slight wind advantage, had to be inside right post.
Excellent sheet. Day returns the ball to play. Lewis was a target, and Segler, an even more prominent one, takes an excellent mark. So with no Ben McAvoy, he'll carry the ruck load today for the Hawks.
Great pair of hands from Sec there.
Well, he clearly wanted a handball to Shields. Not sure about the wisdom of that. Had to just squeeze out the kick as quick as he could. Lewis made a good fist of it early. Help from Bruce came in and changed the whole situation. Wingard dynamic as ever. This is a promising build-up by the Hawks. Scully takes the wide kick, and Greaves gets an opportunity to look into the 50. Damon Greaves, the boy from Bustleton, chipped it short, and the leg was strong. And again, prominent is this man, Jack Gunston.
Well, I mentioned before, John, about the year that Gunston's had. He's kicked 23 goals. And you probably I don't think anyone's really spoken about the impact that he's had, Hutto, this year. 23 goals in a team that isn't really scoring well or playing that well. That's actually a really strong year, a strong lead, strong hands. And we know what a beautiful kick he is.
390 goals in his career at Hawthorn now. This is his 192nd game for the club. Of course, he started with the Crows. What he has been over the years is a beautiful kick for goal, and he displays it again. The Hawks have got the first 2. This is just a few early concerns for the Saints.
Awesome by Hawthorn. They're working hard as a group, collectively around the ball, and that's where they're outnumbering St Kilda and getting that run and drive and quick handball. And out of stoppage, out of congestion here, I should say. Watch Luke Bruce here, just a little tap forward with his boot, kept it in control. I love that. Then they probably nearly over handball here. They had a time to release inside forward 50, but just composure to get it out wide. And then the young player, first game, took his time here, and you can really be able to see here Gunston just on the pop lead, sitting about 30 metres out from goal now. That's good touch, good kick over the top.
Yeah, there's no margin for error in the kick, was there? So well done to the young man.
We just see Loney there in that vision. Just didn't have his head on the swivel, as they say, Joe. He's just watching the ball kicker. Didn't actually turn around and have a look who might be behind him. Actually could have stepped in front and taken that lead off Gunston if he just had a look around. But a bit of concerns here from St Kilda, as you mentioned, Hutto. I mean, every time the ball has hit the ground, the first player to the ball has been a Hawthorn player so far.
So Lewis and Gunston kicking the opening 2 goals of this game. Just 8 minutes in. Phillips and Warple coming off the wing at the bottom of screen. Bruce injected into the midfield for the Hawks. A bit of extra experience around the ball, as we've seen over the years. He has the versatility to do that. Shields got it from Warple and then to Cousins. They link up. Normally the ruckman is not the man to kick into the 50. Good competition in the air, and Scully at ground level. He can't quite get it to come back in the manner he would have liked.
Again, ball hits the ground, first player on it, a Hawthorn player.
Season high 18 disposals last week for Tom Scully. So he'll be looking for a strong finish to the year. Wilkie in the back pocket. So it's not quite getting the flow that they'd like to so far. Look at all the numbers all around the ball. Marshall still almost found a way. Phillips. And that's probably not a bad result.
Every player now looks very deliberate.
It's calls for it.
Well, it's worth it. Isn't it?
We've seen less given.
This is Ed Phillips' 4th game for the season for St Kilda.
Got good shape around this contest, the Hawks.
Ryan doing the ruck work, so that'll be part of his job for the afternoon.
It's amazing, though. You can really see where a lot of games have been played, particularly at Metricon, around that wing area. And a game in AFL in general, just all play that game around the wing.
See Clarko there? Gave Ed Phillips a pat on the back. Did he come off the bench?
Bit of encouragement.
All fun. Warple just stunted the kick deliberately for Bruce. Chips it along the line. Going dangerously again. Morris advancing into the 50. Took his time. So far, their connection's been excellent. Good work from Patton that time, although it's still there for Hawthorn. Gunston on the curl. He's just gone over the line and out of bounds.
It's a great kick, too, from Gunston. Very unlucky.
Well, this tap on the bum might have been a good one from Clarko because Phillips was way off his opponent at this stage. He might have been a little bit confused.
Holding him up.
I don't know why, Moons. I think if that was you in that situation, I don't know whether Clarko would have come and helped you up.
He might have punched me in the back of the ear.
And the Hawks are leading, remember.
Right of the tap, but the Hawks are onto it again. Gunston still had to be careful, and he did show the appropriate caution. So there's Moore, number 36 for the Hawks, Dylan Moore. Out of there by Howard, bangs it up, but it's coming back. O'Brien.
Play on, you're out.
Same spot. Lewis had a look for a moment. Geary with the back up. Hardwick.
I'll tell you what Lewis is doing, though. He's getting good separation on Howard at the moment. So that's just a little bit concerning from a St Kilda defensive point of view. Unless Ryder was back there, Lewis takes a clean mark once again inside forward 50.
I think as a whole, St Kilda are just off the ball at the moment. And if you're Ratch, you'd be getting the message out to your leaders very quickly to spread the word. Pick your game up.
Multiple tackles laid by the Saints, as you saw, allows them to win the footy that time. Ross to Hunter, Clark, who just kicks it as long as he can. Frawley, old teammate of Brad Hill. He was given a lot of space, and then he thought he had more than he did. Goes on whistle. The ball perhaps just fell out rather than being tackled out. Back to the wing, Clark over the top. Couldn't keep his feet. Warple could, the handball, Butler couldn't intervene. Despite his best efforts, Mitchell was desperately searching for somebody to find. They're going nowhere fast, the Hawks here. And another effort from those. But they keep coming, the Hawks. How desperate. The Saints are trying to ramp up the pressure here, and eventually they prevail. Hill, can they use it well? Clark off the left to a one-on-one. He arches the back Loney to just try and hold some space.
And you know what? That just might be the little thing that gets St Kilda up. The Loney effort here, and the Hill effort as well. Just really pushing, probing on Frawley. Got the double handball there, Frawley, which is always nice to the statue. But just that little pressure that they started putting on, and the Loney effort just might be the thing that gets St Kilda going.
Will it lead to anything? Loney came charging through. Brilliant play by Wingard, though. He turned the body at just the right moment. It allows the Hawks to get themselves organised behind the ball. Cousins got involved. The kick gets banged up along the wing. Bruce gave Lewis an opportunity. Perfect bounce from Moore to take and release. Goes in after it again. Oh, opportunity for Moore, which he should take all the way. Runs in and kicks the goal for the Hawks. And they've got 3 on the board. And he's had to bide his time this year, Dylan Moore, to get an opportunity. He kicks his first of the season.
That is an absolutely sensational goal from the Hawks, from D50 transition all the way. Watch how quick Lewis gets ball to boot here. One-hand pickup, just kept it going. Momentum their way. If it had gone out of play here, that would have been okay, but Moore keeps it alive. Scully, lucky to give away the free kick there, would have done all the good work, but well done, young man. Kept it alive and then got the reward as well. But I love this here from Lewis. It's pretty smart.
But even the Bruce tap-on, and we've always spoken about Hawthorn for years and years, and we saw it with Cyril. They've been the great tap-on team, and we've seen it probably 2 or 3 times this game already. They've got a couple of goals just out of those little tap-ons, get them going forward, and that is a great finish. Just see Phillips here, just tried to edge his best, didn't know whether to come at him or stay off him. Sometimes there, you've just got to charge at him. Hopefully he'll make a mistake. Probably gave him a little bit too much room to make his decision.
You're spot on, Moons. There is a general feel here. They're just reacting a bit slow, St Kilda, at the moment. Just that half a step behind Hawthorn, which converts into 2 or 3 metres.
Great goal from Dylan Moore, elite endurance athlete as a youngster. And he's kicked the Hawks 3rd. So the Saints now in red alert. Clark got it through to Ross. He didn't take the shot. Hill will get that chance, or will he? quite sure when to release the shot there, Brad Hill.
Well, what they have, the midfield for Hawthorn have cleaned it up. Last week against Adelaide, they couldn't get their hands on the ball at all, especially through the middle of the ground. They got destroyed by the Crows. Today, already 53 disposals to 28 in terms of the numbers so far in this first quarter.
Brad Hill has just kicked 1 goal this year for the Saints.
Thought he had enough time there just to straighten and kick that really quickly instead of trying to come back inside.
Pop kick from Ben Long. Again, they're just slightly off their best, aren't they?
That's just Hawthorn not allowing easy marks. That means you're on. And this is what coaches always tell. They know when their players are on, when they're not allowing easy marks.
So it's 1-on-1 inside the 50. The extra players up at the contest. Free kick going Hawthorn's way again. And they're winning the crucial contest right now. +10 in contested possessions at the moment. Mitchell, he misses the mark by a sizable margin.
It is, but you've got Segler. See how this unfolds here.
Yeah, tough spot for Jones. You got a strong lead from Marshall, who takes the mark.
It's good, and St Kilda did well to build the pressure once Segler kicked the ball back today, but that's part of the problem. Is Segler's 60 metres out from goal, goes back to 20 metres out from their goal, squeezed up, and they build pressure that way on themselves rather than the opposition doing anything spectacular.
He was one of the culprits in front of goal last week, Rowan Marshall. Kicked 1 goal too. That looks absolutely perfect off the boot. And a welcome goal for the Saints.
We were asking the question early with King and Membrey out, who are going to take their marks and who are going to kick the goals. Well, this is exactly what you want from a young. We still don't exactly know what he is yet. Is he a ruckman or is he a forward? I'd still love to see him play more forward and really give him a run at it, Jono, because he's got all the attributes to be a really mobile, excellent key forward. And we just see that beautiful hands on the lead-up. Frawley on his backside, that's a really hard mark to take. And then a beautiful finish. The modern-day finish, Jono.
That's nice. That is very nice there from Marshall. Perfect technique, executed extremely well.
And the modern day, you're straight off.
Took 4 contested marks last week and
Still don't get that.
gave them the chance late in the game, but they couldn't get over the line against the Demons. I think we did see a little bit with Max King that he is starting to get a bit fatigued, and they'd love to have played him today, but had to manage him. So Rowan Marshall, like a couple of the other tools, need to step up for St Kilda. They needed to get going. They have 1 on the board now. Ryder gets it down. Ross just soccers it because there wasn't much else he could do it because Brad Hill can get onto it quickly. Same tactics, good tactics. Jones for Butler. It wasn't the best of handballs. Butler off the left. Marsh is going to fly against 2 Hawks. Frost almost tackled without the ball. It was Kent that napped him up and then Loney followed.
All of a sudden, we're getting centre break clearances, getting the ball going forward, getting more inside 50s, getting a great contest in the air.
Ryder doing the ruck work, but it's Loney that takes the shot and misses it to the left. I mentioned last year, kicked 3 goals, 5 against the Hawks. So plenty of opportunities for a big bag in that game. To Jack Loney, he's kicked 6 goals, 6 for the year now with 8 misses. This is his 9th game. 10-point margin at Metricon. Greaves from the back pocket. Ryder is going to take some getting over. There was definitely a block there, whether it was legal or not. It's successful. Hill into the pocket again. Kent got a good look at it, and if anything, Loney's, well, almost spoiled the mark.
Looked like a touch Loney. It looked like he sat on his back there for a little bit.
Loney.
I think it came off about 3 players in the end.
Loney pleading for it.
He's still pleading for it.
He's a left footer, so.
Let's have a look.
Oh, that's poor.
Wow.
That's poor. Have a look around. They've started off so well here, Hawthorn. Maybe just a little bit of fatigue's just jumped in for the last couple of minutes, and we're just starting to see St Kilda get back on top. But we spoke earlier about this guy's season, Hutto, and clearly would be their best and fairest winner at the moment.
Arrived at St Kilda at the end of 2016 for a future 2nd round, which the Giants used at pick 27 on Brent Daniels. So he's been a player of great value for the Saints, and they've steadied The St Kilda ship with a couple of goals here. The trademark David Roden grin singles another goal. And it tightens up at Metricon Stadium.
They're starting to win the ball through the middle of the ground. The Saints getting those repeat entries. Mentioned only a couple of minutes ago that it was 58 to 28 in terms of disposals, 53 to 28. Now it's 59 to 42. So there's the numbers that are starting to increase from a St Kilda point of view. Jack Loney put himself in a position. I think he drew the crowd, Loney, because he was open, drew the defence out, wanted that short kick, and then still was able just to...
So all part of the plan, a decoy?
Well, I think
the ball came off his chest into Kent's hand.
Loney wanted the ball, but his voice and how strong he was demanding it, I think just drew the attention of a couple of Hawks defenders, broke up their structure, and still was able to pop into the hole. And so his scout profile there has been very good across the year.
Yeah, has been a great pressure and tackler, hasn't he, for so long? But now it's the offensive part to his game he's been able to display. So a bit lucky in a way, Moons? With
a little bit lucky, yeah, I would have thought. But you take it.
They will. 4 points now, 4 minutes to go. Segler first hands on the ball, which gives the Hawks the opportunity to get the exit. Jath comes up out of defence. Play on Hardwick though, Mark. Long is his opponent. Long is one of the damaging players off halfback for St Kilda. Sloppy tackle, free kick. CJ to take it.
He's lucky they jumped into his back there because he did drag it in. That's right, CJ.
9 disposals last week. 5th game for the year. O'Brien close to it, but nice to go that time. Good hands from Long, and they can set off out of defence again with excellent pass from Caulfield. Gets it to Marshall. Now they've worked it to Jones. You can see what's next. Billings. He had Kent on. He decided to go wider. Butler.
50.
Yep, has to be.
He tried his best there, Gunston, to keep his hands out. But he might have just hit it before he put his hands out.
He tried his best to look innocent as well. Gone.
That's a great bit of acting.
Yeah, that's 50.
He just had that sick feeling that I've seen that, hasn't he?
So Dan Butler, who was so dynamic in the first part of the year, it has been a bit more difficult for him in recent weeks, but he kicks the goal that puts St Kilda in front for the first time. Last week he didn't score and only had the 2 score involvements. So in the last 4 weeks for him, they've been nowhere near as productive as what we saw earlier in the year.
Well, it's a great response by St Kilda. They looked really off the ball first part of this quarter, but we just have to look at the ball movement. That beautiful handball from Long back inside, which really got him going. Lead up forward. It's exactly what. Then you've got your runners. Then you've got your overlap. Have a look at the runners through the middle there. Could have raffled it off through the middle. And gives it to Butler. And as you said, Lynchy, we've all done that. We just do something. You think, God, I hope the umpire didn't see that. You get a sick feeling in your stomach, but umpire saw it. Easy goal in the end for Butler.
Yeah, the last 6 minutes of play have been all St Kilda. 18 disposals, 92% by foot in that period of time. Inside 50s, 4 for 3 goals, 1, scoring every time.
And much better with composure. We heard last week they were plus 16 for inside 50 entries, but didn't hit targets. That one, Hawthorn had 2 extra players back, but they used the ball with hands and short to make sure they effectively went in.
Dan Butler only 3 goals in his past 4 games after starting the season so strongly. Hawks charging out of the middle on the back of the ruck work. Lewis is likely there. Got his hands wrapped around it. Scully plays it back for Wingard. Hardwick. Looks it back for Morrison. Takes a little time to round it up, but he's wanted to get in there as swiftly as he could. O'Brien snatches that one out of the air and can give the Hawks back the lead.
They've looked dangerous in the air, the Hawks. I mean, I'd like to see Lewis do his work a little bit earlier. He's got his hands to about 2 or 3, Hutto, where you just think he's going to clunk this, but he's allowed his opponent back into the contest. Just do his work a little bit early, so he's taking that mark uncontested. But this is just a really nice fly from O'Brien. Turnover, no opponent on him, got to run at it. 8
goals, 3 in 13 games, just the 1 miss, so he's been pretty reliable in front of the sticks. I just had to pause for a moment, but it got the right shape, and Hawthorn are back in front.
started in the middle of the ground. What a goal it is for the Hawks. But the centre bounce clearance was absolutely sensational here from Segler. Wrap around from Warple, push off Steele. That is clean. How nice is that from a Hawthorn point of view?
It's textbook, isn't it?
That is just beautiful.
That's the one you'd practice at training with no opposition.
That's right.
And everything works beautifully. But again, you just see Lewis there, just gets his hands to it. He'll start clunking those soon, and he'll start taking 3 or 4 big marks inside 50, give himself every opportunity to kick goals. But again, the turnover there, players just aren't on their man. That just allows O'Brien a nice, easy run at it.
You got the set shot here. Just keep an eye on the camera. Tom, the cameraman, he bluffed it.
Falcon.
He just couldn't get the fist in.
The great Danny Frawley just shattered on that one.
Clearly, he was an attacker in his prime. High-scoring opening quarter. Still 2 minutes to play out. 4 goals to 3. That's been the total of like a half of football, almost 3 quarters sometime recently. Wingard driving kick into the pocket. And it's over and out.
Mitch, you're up, Paddy.
You okay? Yes, thumbs up.
Sharon print on the forehead.
Great courage from the throw-in. Bruce, we've seen that manoeuvre a few times before. Hardwick snaffles that one up and takes the mark. He's just kicked 5 goals in his AFL career.
Well, there's been some beautiful tap work from the Hawthorn ruckman to their on-baller or young or small forward. That is, again, a beautiful tap from Lewis. On the move, Bruce just had to throw it on the boot.
There's a good response for the Hawks. Strong response after the Saints hit back. And Hardwick is the latest to convert. So that's 5 individual goal kickers for the Hawks. 5 players at least feeling good about themselves. Confidence starting to rise for Hawthorn. They lead by 10.
We'll have a look at the setup there behind the ball, Johnny. You've got 2 St Kilda players virtually in front of the Hawthorn player. If you're going to have a spare, put him in the middle. Somehow get him in the middle so you've got the front covered and the back covered. In the end, the ball went over the top. And it was just an easy mark in there. Just had to hold his opponent out. Took the mark back into space.
It was good. We're going to go back. His TAC Cup year, he kicked 56 goals in that draft year. So he's got the smarts. He knows how to play as that forward, as that mid-size marking forward as well. Having a bit of a chuckle.
He's talking. I think Patton is.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk.
56 goals in 16 games it was too.
Yeah, so it's
amazing we haven't seen him this year at least up forward a little bit.
Yeah, he had to find that role, and it was down back because of the other mid-size type forwards that he was battling against at the time.
Bruce.
Yeah, that's right.
Beautifully bounced in the middle. Ryder got the best of the tap, but the Hawks are going to work. That man Warple, he's had 6 contested possessions in this first quarter. Steele decides to take the advantage, which is clear now as Hill wobbles one inside 50. Battle read it. And Greaves escorts him out. So Battle potentially becomes an important player for them up forward as well today in the absence of King and Membrey.
Well, he's the tall with the endurance.
Yeah.
Battle can work really hard, run kilometre after kilometre at high speed.
Will drop short, Marshall. Billings' handball was outstanding. You can see the result. It was so quick. And Jones hits the scoreboard. So this is a goal fest.
It's turned into a good game of footy.
It is, and the ruckmen are having a fair say around stoppage at the moment in terms of pure hits to their team here. And you got here Marshall. Yes, he uses his body well, gets back. Second effort was very good, but then clean at ground level. Was that Billings coming through?
Yep.
Great vision here where you'll see Billings with a clean pickup and sharp with his hands.
Well, back-to-back goals from stoppages inside forward 50. You very rarely see that.
So the coaches will get together at quarter time and put a stop to this, mates. 9 goals in a quarter.
The shackles on the game.
Disgraceful.
Just have a look at the score sources here. A lot of them will be turnovers. We know that's where a lot of goals come from, but you have a look at stoppages, and that's the one where St Kilda really do need to clean up. 4 goals from stoppages is, I mean, in a quarter, I mean, that's just poor. In a game, that's poor, but in a quarter, that's horrendous. from a defensive point of view.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? So much on the line for the Saints today. As we've said, this is a game they simply have to win, with 2 tough matches to come against the West Coast Eagles and the Giants, up against the 16th placed Hawks. But it's a different looking Hawthorn team so far today. Hard work done by Ryder, and to benefit from that it was Ross, and now it's Jones. He ignored Sinclair. He went for the high-flying Billings on the line. It ends up in a behind.
Geez, we disappointed Sinclair. He was out and away. All he had to do was handball over the top. He was running into an open goal. Just had the blinkers on a little bit there, Jones.
Josh, back to the 9 with me.
Day to Greaves in the back pocket. He's found a good way to get a few early possessions in a game. Just be that kicker in deep in the back pocket.
I'm not sure why you have to go up behind the man on the mark to block him. No reason. Now, Ryder there tried to get it out over the top because he had Phillips all by himself on the wing. I like that from Ryder, just identifying the situation.
He's up against the understudy Ruckman. And that's he looks like he's enjoying himself, O'Brien, getting around the ground, playing on ball.
Got a nice little block there from Bruce.
Kicks them forward. Lewis just trying to work out whether to jump or not. Caulfield did enough to disrupt. Hardwick slammed it on the boot. Anything can happen. Oh, Bruce gets upended. It's a free kick. Right on the siren. Untimely error made by Clark as the ball held up. Saints arguing the toss over it, but decision's been
Wasn't much to argue here. Just having a look at the replay. Bang. Right across the mush.
Yep.
So Luke Bruce, 11 goals, 4 in 10 games, held goalless last week, still laid 8 tackles, but only 1 goal in his last 4 games, which is very unusual for Luke Bruce. Oh, and that's even more unusual. And the Saints are going to take that as something to go on with. Paddy Ryder puffed out the chest after that smother and says to his Saints, "Come with me, boys. We know what's on the line today."
That's just a little thing.
The actual title of captain still probably doesn't sit comfortable with me. What I am really comfortable with is the fact that the playing group really backs me in and wants me to lead them out every week.
Skipper. Oh, that's a stirring tackle. That's a captain's tackle.
He may not be the most glamorous skipper in the AFL, but as the Saints captain, Jaron Geary, celebrates his 200th game, his coach, Brett Ratton, still believes he is a superstar the way he leads his club. He's worn more blows from his side than most over the years, with his single-minded determination to win the footy and help his team, often at a huge physical cost. And today, we and the footy world pay tribute to Jaron Geary. He's teammates with one of the coaches in Danny Sexton, a special presentation on his 200th game, and you can see how much he's loved by his teammates. It's been quite a journey. Picked up at pick 58, so that's the 5th last pick of the rookie draft way back then in end of 2006, and it's been a journey which has been punctuated by a lot of serious injury along the way.
Yeah, certainly, in the last couple of years in particular as well. Hutto for Jaron Geary, but you can see how respected he is within the playing group, and when he talks, they listen, and that's the most important thing as a leader, Moons, and he's got that good mix from what we understand as well, that he can also have a bit of fun with the guys along the way, so only adds to the way that he gets this team going as a leader and bringing them in now. And
they'll be pretty keen to get the win, not just for their skipper, but given their situation in the game. What are you seeing, Lynchy, at the moment at this quarter-time break?
Well, as we pointed out during the call, certainly St Kilda are very slow around the stoppages to start with, and I think Hawthorn's composure and their ability to get clearances was certainly right up there, and their energy levels. And as we saw from clearances, they've scored 4 goals, 1 in that first quarter, and it's on the back of easy clearances going to one-on-one situations in the forward 50 and hitting the scoreboard. So this is a big concern for St Kilda, who historically throughout the season have been really damaging themselves from stoppages, so they've got to sort that out at quarter time.
Yeah, it's a good call, Litchy. Look, 4 goals in a quarter is really poor defensively when you're looking at stoppages. You have a look at the centre bounce clearances. They even things up late there, St Kilda, and probably around the ground they even it up. But particularly early in that quarter, Jono, it was all Hawthorn.
Well, it's how
particularly young Warple.
Yeah, that's right. It's how clean they were coming out of centre bounce as well. The Hawks, they had good run going forward. They had good overlap run early in the game as well from Day. Yes, he turned a couple over, Moons, but he provided some really good run off the back of the square as well. So they're going in the middle of the ground, the Hawks. It's what has allowed them to get the start they have in this game.
And the Hawks still without their best clearance player in Jager O'Meara. But obviously Warple and Liam Shields have been able to get them going out of the middle. We're into the second term. They could have been further ahead with that miss late in the quarter or after the siren from Luke Bruce, the smother on the siren.
Yeah, the smother from Paddy Ryder, and his approach looked all over the shop, actually, Luke Bruce, really slow.
Jones comes charging through. Sinclair. Nice kick forward. Oh, right, getting physical as well. Clear a path for Steele. Out to Phillips. Trusts his left boot. Maybe he shouldn't have on reflection. And Cousins sees it out.
Put too much trust into it. Look, I really love the way Paddy's playing at the moment. We saw at the end of that first quarter, Jono, go down there. We talk about the little things in game of football sometimes. He went down, stood on the mark, got the smother, and then again just putting some big physical pressure through that midfield.
So the Saints winning the hit-outs, but the Hawks getting the ones that matter at the moment. And Howe tumbles over. Scully. Get organised. Warple. Dunstan got a neat little shove from rookie. Well played. Takes the mark. Happy to go around the long way. Clark's kick. Enough speed to get to Caulfield. They can't get the next kick. So the Hawks will be happy with this, just locking Hill down. Now Geary's going to be confronted with a big grid in front of him, so he's prepared to go back the other way. Yeah, I think the coaches have got to their teams, and it's going to be harder to move the ball in this quarter, just on the early evidence. Phillips, Cousins. Now, did he dive on it? You could see that look of discomfort on his face, pleading to the umpire not to penalise me.
Well, I don't think the pressure gauge would have been up too high in that first quarter. I'm sure both coaches have, look, we just see it here. Not really high, Jono.
No.
Not a lot of pressure going on in the game.
That up around 200.
But in saying that, it's good for us because it means we're getting goals.
Both coaches doing their work from ground level. Cousins. Lewis was his target. Well guided by Geary. Kent, body strength. He couldn't get completely clear though, so the Hawks should be able to thrust the ball forward again. Scully on the turnaround. Diving for it, Bruce. Butler flipped it out and followed it up. Kent. Jones. Good progression this time. Steele with a careful kick. Trying to get it to Marshall, but Frawley was onto it. Oh, kicked it straight back to Steele. His eyes were darting, looking desperately for a teammate. Couldn't find it. Frost can. Scully's hand pass allows Wingard to get creative. He plays it a little wider than he would have liked. Perfect bounce for Bruce. He wanted to find that right boot. He doesn't want to get smothered this time, but it's just not happening at the moment for Luke Bruce in front of the goals, and we haven't had to say that too often over his career.
Wasn't happening for both teams in that passage of play, Hutto. Turnover city.
But he didn't need to snap then, Bruce. He was straight and then decided to turn his body at the last minute.
Saints playing it back through Patton and then back to the goal square. Howard out the other side.
Well, clearly at quarter time there's a bit of talk of let's control the football. Keep it out of Hawthorn's hands. They've done this a little bit this quarter, St Kilda, and they've really gone nowhere and haven't done too much with it once they've got to this spot.
High ball is a wide ball, so yeah, what a contrast. Reeves, another opportunity here. Pick 14 in the 2018 rookie draft. Bangs it up, relatively equal numbers in the air. Lewis impressive, onto it smartly. Morrison, tight spot, didn't go out. Saints well positioned for the incoming ball. Howard mark now, it's either, well, it is 50.
Yeah, the umpire hadn't called play on, although he stepped Howard and Bruce went forward. The umpire just hadn't called play on yet.
So Bruce joining his mate Gunston and giving away 50 so far.
It was really an unlucky rule, that one, because as a player you react to what your opposition's doing.
Right.
Sinclair led the inside 50s for the Saints last week. He's sending them deep. It was a deep ball for Billings. He got both mitts to it.
That's his second one, Billings, who's had the big jump, the open jump from behind the pack in the goal square.
Up there, Jack. No creep.
So Frawley returning to the team today. Game 237. He's 99th for the Hawks today. Becoming a premiership player, of course, the ex-Demon. Another look at pajamas for Luke Bruce. Long.
Such a hard one for a player, because if you don't react and allow him to play on, then we're all sitting here saying he just didn't handle. Bruce was really poor on the mark.
Marshall covering some territory now. Warple, the leading possession getter on the ground, by the way, with 13 touches. Only man in double figures so far. Hill has 8. This is Clark. Segler, the juggle. He claims it could have been paid. And we joked about it, Jono, but
now it's played wide. The game was played through the corridor in that first quarter. Now both teams are just playing wide around the boundary. Slow, controlled football again.
Segler got worked under the ball by Abbott. Kicked 2 goals in his first game for Geelong. He's the backup ruckman.
It's unfortunate. The rule in football now is don't score, just don't get scored against. And we see too many teams playing that way, where the first quarter was great. It was entertaining, seeing scores on the board. Now all of a sudden everyone wants to go safe.
Howe can't overrun it. Scully just dumped it with Warple. He's been in everything, but he loses out here to Ross. Excellent delivery to Butler, who decides that he will take the responsibility.
Yep, smart call by Butler. Hawthorn were retreating, so they would have got to Marshall if he had snapped it around the corner to him.
Unfortunately, Warple's handball straight into the back of his
not ideal.
own teammate, bounced straight into St Kilda's hands.
His kick should mostly be protected by that grandstand at the back there, but basically inside right post should bring it back nicely.
He's displayed good scoring accuracy this year, around 67%, which puts him up in the higher echelon. Just clips the side of the post. It really died on his trajectory there.
It just didn't look like he had the strength through the kick.
The leading goal kicker we know has been a huge pickup for them this year, Dan Butler. For a small forward, Day. Hawks hanging on to a 2-point lead. Wilkie not giving Gunston access to the footy. Brad Hill coming off a season-high 27 disposals last week. Has 8 already today for the Saints. He's only gone over 20 twice this year, Brad Hill. He did that regularly last year for free. Oh, look at that. He's a wrecking ball. Here's Ben Long that time.
You love seeing players attack the ball like that. Ratton sitting on the bench would have just gone, it's exactly what I want to see from my players.
Moved it with Coffey. Marshall, the most likely for the Saints. The ability to take a contested mark like that. What an asset for a young man who can be an excellent ruckman as well.
Well, that's right. He took one in the first quarter in front of his eyes, which was strong with Frawley right up his back. That one with the jump, how strong did it look? This is the attack on the ball, though. First up, that sets this up. This shot at goal for the Saints from Ben Long.
That's strong hands.
9 goals, 7 coming in today. He already has 1 to add to that. He'd dearly love a second here.
Ran out there. But this is the beauty of having Ryder in and playing well. It allows this guy just to develop. Develop as a ruckman, develop as a forward. We're probably seeing him play more forward now this year because of Ryder.
Scrimshaw, directionally at least, prepared to be attacking. Shields and then Howe. Manoeuvred his body well. The handball not perfect, but it does keep it moving and give the Hawks an opportunity. Shields and Scully both kept on running to get involved. Morris with a handoff to Morrison. And then it got a little awkward. Wilkie bangs it back to the wing, and again Marshall's able to get his hands around the footy. Tried to keep it moving. He's claiming it should have been 50, that Wingard was where he shouldn't have been. Scully just looked completely stunned. And that's cost him the footy.
Yeah, too many handballs from the Hawks when they've been out and released and kick and had players fall to the ball inside 50.
Was he right there, Marshall? Probably should have been 50 with Wingard sitting there.
Abbott's got the footy now. Saints trailing by 1. Billings that time couldn't get the run and the access to the ball in the air. Mitchell with one of those trademark sweeping handballs to Frawley. They're being a little more careful this time.
That's a player there who didn't want to make a mistake. So instead of going up the middle where he was, he turned left.
He did turn left at the junction, didn't he?
He did. But we're seeing so much of that in our game now. Players don't want to make the mistake.
Turn left at the junction, you're up in Fitzroy Street.
Yes, that's it.
Heading down towards the beach.
Play on your end.
Shields bangs it up, and there's a nice take by O'Brien. Swings it into the middle for the Hawks. Moore's just fell to the play. Morrison couldn't get it to him, but he goes out wide instead to Howe, who could take his pick, and he does choose Dylan Moore, who's already kicked an outstanding goal so far, going back for his second.
Both teams, Moons, the bigs are clunking him well today.
O'Brien's having a really strong
Yep.
But there's a difference between O'Brien and Frawley. Frawley turns left, O'Brien goes back into the middle of the ground, opens the whole game up. They get an easy mark inside 50 because of it.
Looking for the first goal of this second term. David Roden on the move more than the Hawks would have liked. So that's 3 points to 2 in this quarter, 3 behinds to 2.
Not quite getting the heights of the first quarter.
Not quite, but that's all right. Jath won't quite get to this one. Marshall's such a force at the moment. Wingard, he pounced. He was away before you knew it. And Bruce took the mark.
All right, let's see here.
Sure Bruce wants this.
Yeah, no, well, his 1 on quarter time was a disaster. It was touched from Ryder on the mark. So he's setting himself up back a bit further here. You can see him mark the ground. So he knows here he's not going to get anywhere near the man on the mark. It'll just be whether he decides to go drop punt or around the corner.
To think of Luke Bruce as being hesitant at all around goals.
He's been one of the great small forwards the game's seen.
Over 400 goals of AFL footy. It'll come back to him soon, but just not yet. He's second behind for today. As I mentioned, goalless last week.
I remember talking to Peter Sumich about his goal-kicking routine. He goes, had one thing, don't let the man on the mark touch it. That was it. What a goal kicker he was.
Summer.
Yep.
Hey, Jack. Oh.
Great Summer. Right now, though, Ben Patton has the footy for the Saints. They can't find a way forward immediately. Quick change of mind might work out okay. Left foot up along the wing. The Hawks should be able to at least spoil. Scripshaw wanted more than that. He takes the mark. He's really developing into an aggressive, good ball user. Back through the middle he goes. Greaves. Out to Shields. Oh, Scully almost gave Hill a look. There's some run between those two at their best, that's for sure. Segler provided a target. Caulfield got the handball, and now Jones trying to kickstart the Saints. Off half-back, Butler.
This is where they're struggling because Hawthorn have got the spare behind, so they look to go quick, but they're cut off every time, so cause to go this slow, uncontested mark movement.
And this is exactly what Hawthorn want, because what they do then is they allow you to go back, they can press, man the mark with intent, with speed, and make it difficult for you to exit.
Well, 31 marks to 15. I mean, this is really telling the quarter for St Kilda, but again, as Lynch said, they're not really going forward with it.
Clark. Kent, so the forwards having to get up the ground to try and give them an avenue of attack. Still, Loney up ahead with Ryder. It's the taller target, but it's back into the middle again.
It's okay, if you're going to play this way, just do it quickly, which makes Hawthorn have to defend. They're running around, you lose so much energy when you've got to defend.
Clark saw something he liked. Billings, Kent, shut down, gets to the outside. Jones couldn't handle it. Scrimshaw again. Footy released. Warple to Day to Scully. Tosses it back up. Saints have the extra number there. Bruce did well, fought the good fight, but it's Hill. It's waiting off defenders and trying to send them forward off the boot of Clark. He was legged in the end. So the desperate efforts of Tim O'Brien didn't win the footy back, but it did stunt the progress again.
Great effort.
Outstanding by Hawthorn here, just how the zone's moving.
There's the lunge from O'Brien in the box. Meantime, Hill keeps them guessing, and he does hit up a target. Sinclair kept it moving to Kent, and the short was on. The short to a short, Loney takes the mark, and he'll go back and have the shot.
But again, that's the perfect way to do it. If you're going to do the kick mark game style, John, do it quickly.
Yep.
Come in board, go back out board, whatever it is. If you do it slowly, then you allow Hawthorn just to set with their defence. If you do it quickly, you're going to make them run. And that's where you lose so much energy when you're defending like that. And the gaps will open.
Loney goes way out to the left, but he gets it all together at the moment of release and puts it through for the first goal of his second term.
It's a nice finish from Loney. You're right, Moons. You've got to face the game. You've got to be able to see him go if you possibly can.
That's 15 minutes in coming, that goal, John.
Yeah, it did. It's been a different style from both teams in this second quarter, though, and St Kilda in particular, that kick back behind the mark, but strong release there on run to Bradley Hill in from behind, but he cuts back inboard, and it just opens up, and that's sharp movement there.
Sold about 3 bits of candy there, Hill. But again, he sold it, came back in, and then once you get past halfway, if you're going to do this chip mark game, once you get past halfway and you can go quick, that's when you've really got to go.
Yep.
And he did that. Beautiful, come back inboard, get a nice little mark, and it's this little handball, bang, and all of a sudden you've got free play coming up through the middle of the ground.
The Hawks have been in front for most of this game. St Kilda now led by 3 points on the back of Jack Loney's first goal. There's the differential in style and maintaining possession of the footy in this quarter. 23 difference, but Hawks are going to get it out of the middle here. Mitchell had to rush the kick. Just slews a little bit. 3 Saints had to work out between each other. Long couldn't quite finish it, so it's still available for the Hawks. Morris tried to craft something.
Yeah, Lewis isn't happy.
Down.
Oh, and fair enough too. He should have got the handball, Lewis. He would have been able to run into an open goal pretty much if he did get that release ball.
Josh Morrison, just his 4th game. I remember that stare for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Patton. Segler couldn't get there. Steele, immediate trouble and concern for Clark, who's crashed out. Segler got a toe poke in. Hill was able to pounce on it and try and tidy up for the Saints. Straddling the line, kicking that one. Frawley was able to keep it away from Marshall. Now Kent's got issues. Scrimshaw hacking away.
Just watching Marshall even that one-on-one with Frawley. Just about took that one. Give him another couple of years in the gym. Gets fitter again. He's going to be a monster.
Right, they're going to run up and a decisive tap that time to Clark. Hill goes searching off the right boot. Jath well placed to intervene, didn't mark. Marsh suddenly turned tackler on Shields. Interesting disposal play on the call. Scrimshaw just got it out of there, whacked it to half forward. The extra save was Ben Long and a lovely floating nose.
He's having a great quarter, Ben Long. He's done some nice things. Tough in the contest.
Flies for it too, doesn't mind flying.
What a good combination across half-back. Getting settled, haven't they, now with Patton and Caulfield and Clark and Long. Caulfield, 15 disposals last week and 3 intercepts. He's around about the 5 intercepts per game for the year. Jaron Geary has had to find other roles as a result of that, really, as in the last couple of years, being a defensive forward at times. Wasn't to be for Marshall that time. So just 1 goal in this quarter. It belongs to St Kilda. It's enough to give them the lead by 2 points.
I mentioned the marks were 4th. 30 more marks this quarter, 45 to 15.
I think the Hawks have had the inside 50 advantage, 9 to 5. Ryder with a hook tap. Ross hammered in again by Geary. Jack takes the mark.
It's a tough one sitting under that ball, knowing that you've got a couple of pairs probably coming at you from behind.
Gets a bit untidy, and they'll take the point, I think, right now, the Hawks. And a chance to just reset and get through the last 25 seconds. Well and truly in touch in this one, though, the Hawks. After a very disappointing performance last week, becoming the first team to lose to the Adelaide Crows. No doubt Clarko would have had plenty to say. He made 7 changes. That was a statement in itself. That selection, we're getting exposed to some of their younger players. And they've been in front for much of the half. Looks like they'll take their break, though, behind St Kilda. Siren sounds to end it. Well, a contrasting first couple of quarters at Metricon Stadium. It was the Hawks early in a flurry of goals. But as things tightened up in that quarter, St Kilda were able to edge their way into the lead. They kicked the only goal of the term. 1 goal, 4 to 4 points. And they lead by 3 at the major break. 5-8, 38 to 5, 5-35 in a match the Saints simply have to win if they want to play finals football. Kelly Underwood.
Thank you very much, Anthony Hudson. This is the first of a triple.
So 3 points in this one. And we're ready for the third quarter. A conference in the middle between the prime on-ballers, Tom Mitchell and James Worpel. They had an extended conversation post the first half. This is it. This is as though leaving the ground, Jono.
Just trying to work out what's going on in around the contest, and disappointed with different aspects of it, but that's just helping each other in this situation. They would have had a good chat inside as well in regards to that. Now they come out and we see what they produce, because the first quarter was sensational from these 3 in particular. Wingard was good also in that combination. So centre bounce is going to be important in this second half for the Hawks. They need to get that ball inside forward 50, because their forwards are doing a really good job, Moons, when given those opportunities one-on-one.
They are doing a very good job. We've seen O'Brien taking a couple of good marks. We've seen Lewis almost get his hands to, probably 4 or 5, where you think in another year or 2 he takes those marks and really gets a nice shot on goal. But you have a look at from a St Kilda point of view, and we know that they're missing King up in the stands today watching, but they've done okay down there. We've seen a couple of really strong marks from Marshall down forward line, but a couple of their other forwards need to pick up their game.
Into the third quarter. Jones, first hands, out to Ross, who's been a good source of getting the ball forward. And that was the out-of-zone umpire calling that. So the free kick is going to Marshall.
Yeah, it's Battle.
In fact, it's Battle.
Yeah, I thought it was there, Hutto, as well. You can see here in the back, nudge out. He didn't launch himself forward or anything there, Battle. That was just a clear push that was called from the umpire. It was the right call.
So he's a versatile player, 9 goals, 5 in 10 games. Didn't play till round 4, but has kept his place ever since then. And that's a decent-looking kick at goal. Another poster. So it just fell off to the right.
It's a fair strike, wasn't it? Didn't really have a big run up there, just a couple of walking in steps and launched.
193 and 92 kilos he's listed at, Josh Battle.
Stay behind,
Lump of the lad, Greaves, who again takes the mark on the short kick in. Sets the kick up along the wing. Lewis worked his way to the front for the Hawks, but it's Saints all over it. Billings just a bit sloppy, and so he couldn't get the immediate handball.
It's been Nelly for Billings today. He's nearly taken a couple of big grabs. He's
nearly got
clean once. He was clean, really clean once, that set up a goal to one of his teammates, to Jack Jones it was.
There he is.
Sorry about that.
Gets the ball to boot in a haste that time. Day looked for it, couldn't find it. Butler had him spinning around in a tackle that goes on and on and on, and he's not rewarded in the end.
He's done well today.
Okay. Had a fair question to ask then about whether there was enough effort to get rid of that footy. Big ruckman go crashing down and probably create a divot or 2.
And as you can probably tell from a couple of those early kicks, the breeze has probably freshened a little bit, favouring left of screen.
Saints on the move. There's blocks going on galore as they were getting ready to try and find a way out of that clearance. It's tough going for Steele. And again, the umpire has to blow the whistle. It's been a low free kick game so far through the first half. Just 7-4 in favour of the Saints. Having said that, we've seen a couple of free kicks quite quickly.
That's right, we have.
I'm not sure where this free kick came from. This is giving Hawthorn plenty of time to get numbers back. There should not be an uncontested mark here.
Just Mitchell just got a bare hand to the back of Ryder's neck, and there you go. They're well stopped back there.
For Hawthorn. You love how some players, when they come into a footy club, they're virtually the player they're replacing. This guy is virtual to a T.
He's even got his number.
Yes.
Even got his number, he's got his kicking style, you name it, he's virtual.
Have they been seen in the same room together, Moose?
I don't think they have. He's playing 2 games a weekend.
Yeah. Mitchell hits a target off halfback. So what's going to be the mode for the Hawks? Can they get some pace back in the game? Gunston, so far so good. Warple. Awesome touch. Wingard, the next kick becomes the one. O'Brien is deep. There he is. He's got a bit of a mismatch with Geary from a height point of view. And perhaps marking prowess. He wasn't the choice, though. Went to Gunston instead. Clark. It's almost thrown out of there by Long. They may have avoided one there, the Saints, as Hill gets cornered by Morrison. And Hawthorn should be able to win the ball back anyway. A nervous moment for Mitchell as it went springing off the chest.
But you caught it, Hunter. That's where O'Brien, with a little bit more experience, has got to demand that ball is kicked to him when he's got a mismatch.
Oh, Lewis. Hill, a bit of basketball there to get the ball to obey his command, and it did eventually. Clark to Jones. Changed his mind at the last moment. Left him vulnerable, but he was able to get the hand pass and find Ross. Wingard knew it was coming. Ross was able to get it to Billings, and that's successful in the end. Sinclair out to the wing, where Loney had a choice to handball to Jones or kick down the line to Marshall. Butler's calling for it, but he keeps going. He thumps it as long as he can into the pocket. Battle is now the focus of their forward thrust. He comes once, he comes a second time. Jones, the give, and then it's outside from Hill. Oh, again Billings. Same spot, same fumble. They turn it over, or have they? Battle got it back to the Saints' terms. Jones in a rush. Loney came out. Frost.
Oh, Frosty.
He knew what he wanted to do, but the problem can be actually doing it at times. Caulfield punches the handball for Steele. That's disrupted in flight. Marsh off the left. Flings it at goal. And it flops across for a behind.
Very lucky there, Frosty.
I'm not sure if you guys are picking it up back in the studio, but this game's not reaching any great heights at the moment.
It was actually well called, Hunter. You did really well.
Fake it to make it sometimes, Moves. Okay, it's going to turn in a moment.
It is. We'll get back to that first quarter, which was unbelievable from these two teams.
But there's so much on the line for the Saints. I mean, it's a big day in terms of teams wanting to put their hand up and play finals footy. It's the Hawks with the system on the way out this time. Bruce, there's Ben Long. Say g'day. He goes again Long, but the Hawks get forward through Segler. Carriage needed from Clark. He showed it. Back with the ball now is Wilkie. Spinning away through Morris, but not through Gunston. Clark gives him a way out, or a way back, perhaps. It's back. Howard's kicked strong for Caulfield. It will pick up. It's about to turn any minute.
The pressure from Hawthorn, making them go back, pushing them wide. Not allowing them just those marks that they allowed in that second quarter.
Patton makes the choice in the end to go across to Hill. And that's where it comes unstuck. He's talented young Hawk. Day from Morrison.
Hold, Jack! Hold! Play on!
Harry Morrison. Can the Hawks take a mark and get the go-ahead goal? No, they can't. It's Caulfield again.
We just keep waiting for St Kilda to get some speed in the game. I mean, all credit to Hawthorn to be able to slow them and these uncontested marks, not being able to move the ball forward, but St Kilda need to get into the corridor and start moving the ball quickly.
Jack Billings. Safely enough to Jones. There's Abbott as an option. Doesn't take that. Goes a little longer for Marshall. Frost comes across. Now Butler tries to go to work, but Shields put pay to that. And the the Hawks getting extremely frustrated.
Yeah, they've got a good point there, the players, though, because he did take it on Butler in there. That's incorrect disposal, holding the ball.
There's been 3 holding the balls paid today, all to St Kilda. And sense the frustration from the Hawks. Butler.
Holding the man.
And now the frustration builds even more when that one was given away.
Plus City free kicks.
Ooh, a bit going on there, down the ground. Grappling, waiting for position. Battle couldn't take the mark. Frawley hands it off to Greaves. Mitchell's going to have to fly. He kept the ball secure nicely. Well done by the Brownlow medalist, Tom Mitchell.
He's had a couple of those moments this quarter already, Hutto, just standing under the high ball. It's never a fun one.
Possession 14 for Tom Mitchell. Oh, well done by Long.
He's playing some game long.
Yeah.
In the air, on the ground. His pressure, he's tackling hard.
9 intercepts last week. He's doing it again today. Up to the 50. Marsh showed a turn of speed, which he's got. Phillips, door opened and then closed.
It was great work from Marsh just to take the ball.
Acceleration.
Accelerate, get the ball, handball through. We've seen a couple of kicks from Phillips today, just really missed the mark. Could have drawn a player there and given the handball over the top.
Frawley. Saints have had it, as we can see there, in their forward half for the majority of this quarter. O'Brien. Up to the wing, Gunston. Hardwick. And Brewster's loose.
They've looked dangerous with their tools inside 50, but when they've looked more dangerous is when those tools are actually up the ground, Jono, giving a contest on the wing and allowing all that space in the background to allow guys like Bruce to run into it. Just wonder how his heart's going here.
That's right. But a tough day around the sticks for him. That one's going to hang on.
Well done, Bruce.
And the Hawks are back in front. So this is not getting any easier for the Saints. Luke Bruce, first goal. A welcome return to the contribution on the scoreboard for Luke Bruce.
Yeah, it is. It's a good passage of play here from the Hawks. O'Brien set up with a big contested mark at half-back. And they're able to get flow through here, and Bruce gets out the back with a really nice run there on transition. But it's interesting, we talk about controlling the game and slowing it down, but when sides do that, when they score, that's their chance to rotate. That's the chance to take a few minutes off, just to take a bit of a spell. When the game is continually going and we don't get the scores moons like we did in the first quarter, it actually fatigues the players sort of more. So we can say they control the ball and stop the opposition, but ultimately the scores is what allows the rotations to happen. It allows what the players to actually stay reasonably fresh with that.
All right, he's going, mate. I finally middled it. Finally. We've all gone through that. But you have a look at the inside 50s this quarter. I mean, it's been all St Kilda. And then to allow the ball to go out the back for basically, just a couple of inside 50s for Hawthorn and allow that one there.
First goal of the third term gives Hawthorn the advantage, albeit by just one. Jones with a probing kick, heading for battle again. Howe couldn't stop him getting the ball to boot. Now it's Butler and Greaves. A big task for the young man on debut. He's been on Butler for most of the game so far. One of the form small forwards of the season. And again, the Saints fall short on the kicking front. Not easy shots, some of them they've had. 5-11. And the Hawks 6-5. Both with 41 points, and it's tied up. St Kilda with games against West Coast and the Giants to come. They need the 4 points this afternoon against the 16th placed Hawks. Ryder outmarks O'Brien that time.
That's better because he's been outmarked by O'Brien a couple of times, Paddy.
They need to find a better way inside 50 here with a bit more composure and efficiency.
Everything's high and long, isn't it?
Yep.
It's Long this time. It's Ben Long. It's low though, and Day takes the mark. Sends Scully on his way. Depth on the kick. It'll allow Morrison to run onto it, being pursued by Phillips. Oh, misfire from Morrison. Marshall well positioned. Suddenly, they're out of kilter, the Hawks, so that means that Kent should be able to find a target. But
yeah, he had no targets forward. He had to wait. He had to use the ball short, still waiting for someone to get there deep.
So time runs out eventually, but the target presented, and he was able to put it on the chest of Rowan Marshall.
Well, he just drifted, didn't he, Marshall? He just flowed in with the ball then. It was slowed up. He just tried to get himself inside 50, and it was a good hit-up.
And that was the defensive lapse from Hawthorn, because they all sagged back and just allowed Marshall to drop into that space short. And I think that's the area St Kilda in this quarter have to hit up more, 35 to 50, because they'll easily get the journey.
8 marks Rowan Marshall has taken today. This for his second goal. He'll put St Kilda in front by how much is the question? Not enough if you're a Saints fan.
Well, Lynchy called it. I mean, you have a look at all the inside 50s for St Kilda, and we showed the stat earlier in the match. As a pro just flies past. But we showed that stat earlier in the match. Oh, just their kicking, their goal efficiency going inside 50s really dropped in the last few weeks. And their inside 50s this quarter has just been really poor. Just high, long, haven't given their forwards any opportunity.
Frost takes the mark.
Not often you hear the birds sleeping in the background.
It's been a different year. Frost. Takes the mark. Had a good impact there. Saints reloading back through the middle this time.
Play on, play on.
Clark with a set-up handball. Howard goes wandering through. Marshall again front and centre. Battle is there between the two of them. Mark or free kick.
Is it for a battle or is it for...
I think he's paid the mark in the end.
I'm glad that he paid the mark. But that was okay because there was a 2-on-2. And look, this guy right now, we spoke about him a little bit earlier. Once he really hits the gym, Jono, this guy is going to be everything that you'd want from if you're a St Kilda fan. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he can run. He's already a really strong contested mark.
Now it's all about the conversion. It should be elementary from there. And it wasn't convincing, but it gets the result. And the Saints now lead by 7. That's a match high for them.
Well, it's just a weight of numbers at the moment. And Hawthorn are doing their very best to just restrict what has been a lot of ball in their defensive 50 in this quarter. Good work there from Battle in behind there. Did it well without giving away the free kick. Hawthorn need to just work on their skills coming out of the back half. They've turned over a few, which has allowed some re-entries as well from a St Kilda point of view. They clean that up, Hawthorn, then they're a big chance to go all the way. Their transition from D50 to score today has been quite good.
Is that a free kick in your mind, Jono, or
From
not?
Battle, no, because he put himself in that position. He would have marked it if Marshall wasn't there.
He's having some game at the moment. Marshall in 9 disposals, 8 marks, a couple of goals.
It's just been an awesome story for St Kilda fans over the last couple of years, and it was a big talking point at the start of this year, wasn't it, with the acquisition of Paddy Ryder. It took them a little while to work out how to play together, but it's been a strength for most of the season.
I think allowing him to grow into the role is a brilliant idea. The fact that they brought Paddy in to play that ruck role.
Saints just a bit of a harder edge right now. Big nice welcome for their supporters. Steele threading the handball along the line to Kent. There's plenty on the kick. The Hawks have got an extra, but he's not in the contest here. And Battle takes his turn and takes the mark. There's some real issues for the Hawks' defence as this game starts to head one way in this third term.
And there's real issues for the Hawks midfield as Warple goes off the ground in enormous pain.
And Battle curls one into the point.
That might be the second post of this quarter.
It is.
So what's happened?
Looks like a right shoulder. He went down to contest the ball just on centre wing in the lead up to that play, but he's carrying his shoulder now.
Yeah,
here,
it was a 50-50 ball there.
Just got hit there, and might even be a broken collarbone. He's going off now in all sorts.
Well, they need to find a replacement as Butler tried to run and leap his way through. Frost basically throws it to his teammate, to Mitchell. Scrimshaw work it to the outer side, but Ryder is prepared to wear the contact and just get it forward.
You just go back to that mark, though, inside 50. Let's have a look there. Warple fingers crossed it's not that bad. He looks to be in a fair bit of pain there. But they're just starting to get those marks inside 50 now, John. We said, where are they going to come from? No Membrey, no King. We're just starting to see them get on top inside 50.
Cousins with a release handball. Let's see if the Hawks can get into motion through the middle. They're taking the short way home. Well, they are doing it by hands. Wingard would love to kick, but in the end, they have to submit and handball across. Moore gets disrupted. Good energy from Phillips, but Wingard back to try and cause some more damage. Out wide to Frawley. It gets a bit awkward for him. Well done by Caulfield, but they kept it moving. Morris dishes for Wingard, and then the smother came from Phillips. So good tenacity by the Saints.
It was. Wingard was just a little bit too cute throughout that passage of play. He had opportunities to basic skills, hit the next one in line. Tried to do a little bit too much, handballing over his head. Ball hit the ground, and that built the pressure.
Hawks have only been inside 54 times this quarter for 1 goal. So they need to change that around underneath Phillips. Contested possession this quarter is 27 to 13 in favour of the Saints. Yeah. That's dominance around the football.
St Kilda.
And now they get another free kick.
Just 15, if that. You'd love that one to be called play on. There you go, calls that one not 15, off the same distance.
Sometimes you'll see that. They just give you a bit on the first one, but not the second
one. Just call the first one, and away we go.
Long brings it out this side. Caulfield. Now Jarangiri for Long. The right boot line goes wide. And Frawley. So the damage the Saints have done has been minimal, considering their domination in this quarter.
That's right.
And a late goal for Hawthorn. I'll just give them the energy to challenge again in the last. Morris getting his chance. His 4th game. Josh Morris picked 57 last year's draft. Debuted the same day as Will Day. Gunston. Now O'Brien turns tackler.
But again, just a really good contest in the air, O'Brien. Been really impressed with his game.
They've shown a lot of patience with him this year.
Yeah. Done some ruck work, done some really good work through there as well.
I think one of the reasons is he does apply plenty of pressure, so that's one of the things.
He hasn't gone to the forwards club. Hutto.
Not your school?
Yeah. You don't put on pressure. That's just wasting energy.
Saints by 8. Cousins. Reeves, Segler, Scrimshaw, can he have the touch required? Play on the call, Frost, a rare chance. An opportunity to kick his first goal in Hawthorn colours. Denied. Would have been super handy, that's for sure. Margin cut to 7. The Saints see out these last 50 seconds. James decides to handball to Hill. And now it's Long's turn. Back to the voice. Steele to Jones. So they've got it all together when it mattered there. And now Loney. Eyes up into the 50. Had 2 choices. He goes for Butler. Does he take the next? He's still thinking about it. In the end, he couldn't resist. So it's going to be a tight shot.
Got a lot of airtime, didn't he?
Pocket for Billings. Didn't really improve the angle for Jack Billings at all.
He actually should have just gone with the handball straight
I totally agree, Moons.
Straight away, Jack runs in.
So they've kicked 6 scoring shots for just 1 goal in this quarter. A late one could make all the difference. They lead by 7. It's as high as Dustin Martin's. Is it as good?
I think it is.
Take that one, Dusty! Different side, different style, but he got the height and he got the goal. It's worth another look before we take a break from Metricon Stadium. Is that the goal that could make all the difference? That might have been higher than Dusty.
It almost felt like he bellied it, but he gave it that much height, it just gave it enough time to come around.
What a kick.
It wasn't flush, but you take that one. That was a great finish.
And it gives Brett Ratton a reason to smile. And the Saints, the impetus, a valuable 4 points is what they need. Well, it took to the very end of that third quarter for the Saints to get the reward for their domination, and it came in a very unusual way to the highest heights. Jack Billings is going to claim it. He knew exactly what he was doing. It went through. They kicked 2-5 to 1-1 for the quarter, and so they turned for home with a 13-point advantage as they look to get the 4 points that will give them the best shot at playing finals footy for what's been a really positive season for the Saints. 7-13-55 to 6-6-42. Jono, have you been convinced by St Kilda? Is there still some worries you've got with the way they play?
There are aspects of it. They need to stop the transition of the opposition. Hawthorn in particular today have done really well from D50 when they have got the ball out of there. They've seen plenty of it, the Hawks' backs, but when they've been able to get through here, it's through with some good speed, some good contest work. You see Luke Bruce we've highlighted there, but it's this kick here, Moons in particular, that you were impressed with, just to see it, hit it, and get it inside 50.
Well, too often we see players in today's football, they look sideways for another handball, or they want to look sideways for a quick little cheap kick. They very rarely just look forward. And when you do, it's actually amazing how much space there is and what you can do with that kick. So I just thought that was the perfect kick from Harwick, just to put it over the top for Bruce to run into it. He hasn't had a great day in front of goal today, Bruce, but we saw his little celebration later on. That was great.
Well, the Hawks without one of their prime midfielders in the last quarter, Lynchy. What's the latest?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like James Warple is out for the game. It hasn't been confirmed from Hawthorn at this stage, but we saw halfway through that third term, he's gone in where Dean Kent can kick the ball out from his hands, basically, and being hit in that right shoulder. And he obviously limped from the ground or carried his shoulder from the ground. It's been chatting to the doctors early, and the doctors came out and chatted to the coaching staff, and it doesn't look like he will reappear. Certainly in a lot of pain. He may be out for a few weeks, if not the remainder of the season.
Looks sore, didn't it? You've had a couple of those.
Yeah. You know why he's bringing this up? Because Moons cleaned me up a beauty exactly like that, except the difference was Moons ran over the ball to hit me, not contest the ball.
Back to you in a moment. Alistair Clarkson today, 500 games as a player and coach. It's been quite a journey, of course, as a player with North Melbourne, first of all, and then with Melbourne. He set off on his coaching path, which took him through South Australia, all over the place, really. At Port Adelaide, he was an important lieutenant to Mark Williams. Then he got the opportunity at Hawthorn. At one stage, Jeff Kennett wanted to demote him to the reserves, to the VFL. But he survived and has become one of the great coaches of all time. We can say that confidently. Right now, he's got a challenge on his hands. There's been a lot of talk around what Hawthorn should do with their list, and exposing some of the young players.
Exposing the young players, and he'd be happy with what he's seen from a few today as well. And he's made some positional changes with some others to allow the youngsters to come in and play the positions that they know how to play the best, so they can get the best out of their time in the senior team.
They're 13 points behind. They haven't had a win since Carlton in round 9, so they'd love to get back on the winners list right now. High kick from Mitchell. Gives them an opportunity forward. Soccer from Shields. He goes after it again.
And it hasn't really been reflected on the scoreboard so far today, but you'd think Hawthorn are kicking with a 2-goal wind advantage left to screen in this last quarter.
Well, that's welcome news for Hawthorn fans. Segler. Steele. Ross. He reckons he got a shove in the back.
There's no one in the grandstand to throw that ball back.
Lost the ball.
Come on, Lynchy.
I'm not allowed to touch it.
Oh, yeah. So it's Chad Wingard. Looks into a pretty full forward 50 in the pocket. You can see the numbers. Massing!
There it is.
Finally, he's able to get up and take the mark. Mitch Lawrence, what a grab. And that's a glimpse of what Hawthorn fans will love to see.
Well, we've talked about this boy all day, saying he's just about Jono. And finally, he's had a really nice run and jump at it. And that is a great grab, a great pair of hands. He'd be thrilled with that because he's been so close so often today.
Over the top of Ryder and Segler as well. That's enormous, that grab.
He's got to go right post.
To finish it, right post, says Lynchy.
Not enough. No. The mark was good.
Mark was fantastic.
Well, in the world of confidence, he's had his hands to at least half a dozen today where you think yourself probably should have clunked those.
Well, it's what we saw, you know, a bit off in last year and the year before as he was emerging on the scene.
I mean, they're the things Tyco's looking for. Okay, can his key forwards start taking these grabs going into next year? We've seen O'Brien do it.
12 games for 20 goals last year. Saints edge it up along the wing. Frost. Kent. Waited for help, he got it. Butler. Sinclair on a path back to goal. And perfect. Absolutely perfect. And he's going to let Battle run it home. That's a big turnaround from one end to the other.
And that really hurts when you're the forward who's just missed the goal. To give your team that opportunity of really fighting for the game, and then they go coast to coast down the other end. And great work from Kent.
Just have a look at Butler here, Moons. He's at this contest here, and this is what he brings, because he's got that speed and run and power to really want to push hard as a high forward. And that's why he's so effective with his movement, because he just doesn't give up on the play. Gets involved again and helps set this goal up over the top, in which Josh Battle runs into an open goal. So Butler there was huge run for the Saints, and that's what we need to see more of. More teammates need to jump on board with Butler and do this more often.
And just smart from Kent. Looked up, realised there was no one inside 50, and just tread water. Held his ground, waited for his runners, waited for his teammates. And it was a beautiful kick inside, wasn't it? And I like that. Give the handball, get the easy goal.
He's had the 3 shots.
He'd be thrilled with that battle, wouldn't he? He's hit the post a couple of times today.
Settler takes what might be a free hand pass, but in the end, though, he takes the kick. Cousins considers. 2-on-1 against Lewis. Couldn't see the footy that time. Phillips. Shields knew exactly where to tackle him. Brings it to a halt. The Hawks simply have to find a way, as they did early in this game, to score from one of the stoppages around goal. Ryder. And they have again. Oh, but the lunge means it's only a behind. So Mitchell's kick, the desperation there, personified by Caulfield in the square. Jones takes the mark. A re-entry. Still time for Hawthorn.
Nice save.
More short stuff from Patton to Jones.
We heard Brett Ratton say at half-time that they wanted to keep possession of it, but they probably went a little bit overboard in that second quarter. Probably been a little bit smarter with their ball handling, Bradley, haven't they?
Yeah.
Just the way that they've kicked and marked, kept the ball going forward, sideways.
Sinclair regains his footing, twisting and turning. No one put a halt to it, so Billings is able to chip it to Kent. Stand off there. It's Grimshaw. Dubious handball, must have just got the connection. Hawks get it back anyway. Greaves. Oh, Lewis takes another excellent mark. That was a little different. Couldn't have got higher on the other one. Couldn't have got lower on that. Mitchell to Cousins. Can they hit a target deep? Gunston denied initially. Not out of it. And Scully will need to finish the hard work.
Oh, it was good running from Scully and Lewis as well, who got up and got himself back inside forward 50. Gunston with the composure.
Tom Scully, 3 goals, 1 in his 13 games this year for the Hawks. Kicks through that one, and it's absolutely fine. They're still in it, the Hawks. Back to 11 points. They're just hanging around, which will make St Kilda fans just a little nervous.
Lewis has done the work in the air and on the ground. Moves here with this grab as well. He's just to slip over, but nice take as well.
It's good though, he didn't panic.
He didn't panic because, and look at the handball release here as well from ground level. Fumble there from Howe, but they had enough numbers and support to work it out, the Hawks.
He's just a smart player, Gunston, isn't he? Once he has the ball in hand, didn't panic. A lot of other players would have probably tried a dribble kick or something silly from that angle, but just had the composure to look back inside, just quickly, left foot. Keeps the ball alive, gives his team another chance.
It was so smart because it was Geary in the goal square, you're right, Moose. So if he does a dribble, that's a turnover, and St Kilda are going
He's being
the other way again.
And he'd be launched on tonight.
Yes.
11 points the margin. Abbott thought he was going to get a nice free hit out there, but he'll have to try again against O'Brien. Segler on the bench having a rest. Man down the Hawks without Warple. Shields able to wriggle clear. So they get the ball forward first. Jaff looks like he's gone forward. He gets there to stop Clark getting any further. That's a good little mini win for the Hawks. His teammates go to him.
And the Hawks maybe 2 players down as well. Josh Morris just limped from the ground, and they actually told him to go back out because they were down on rotations. He said, well, I can't. So he's getting his right calf attended to by the physio at the moment.
Thank you, Lynchy. 11.5 remaining. O'Brien, Ross, couldn't make the contact he was after. Well done, Morrison. Scully and they edge forward. Wingard did enough. Now Long kept Gunston guessing and placed it nicely for Phillips. Hard running done ahead by Geary. That's the Walker story. Not a good one as far as he's concerned after.
Just see the way he's walking. He just does not want to move that shoulder at all. A lot of pain.
Look to launch off the wing via Frost. Off the left boot. Interesting kick.
Frosty.
Good hard stuff from Moore to Cousins. And now it's Gunston. And he's a chance.
You're right, St Kilda fans are very nervous. All of a sudden just feel like they've taken their foot off the pedal once they got out to that.
17 points. Just felt like they got to safety, didn't it?
Battle kicks that goal, and you think to yourself, well, they're about to run away with it. Hawthorn's credit just kept coming.
Just the 1 goal today for Jack Gunston. 6 disposals. The history says he's a decent chance from there. We all know that. He's a marvellous player, but unfortunately, he's missed the mark by a decent amount there. Back to 10 points. James Warple, a spectator like all of us, who was prominent early in this game.
He's having a very good game. Had the 17 possessions. 3 centre bounce clearances as well.
Howard sends it as deep as he can to the wing. 3 Hawks there to get it to ground and get it to Morrison. And they're on the move again. Mitchell from Shields. Touch ball. Jaff, it's over his head. Gunston goes to work. Got clear. Opportunity. Left foot Cousins.
The little fumble actually helped Cousins in because everyone went past him. He had time.
Very disappointed. Geez, Gunston's just really lifted up the intensity inside forward 50.
Cursing himself. That's good pressure on the way out from Wingard. Another opportunity beckons. Wingard will take it on himself this time. And another poster.
Was there anyone inside, Jono?
I don't know, but it was a nice kick from Wingard. It was coming around brilliantly.
All the play in their front half. Might do it in behinds. It's back to 8 points now.
Well, if St Kilda want to play finals, this next 5 minutes is everything. They need to really pick their game up here.
Clark. To Long. Right for Geary. Slits past Moore. They creep along the wing. Oh, Loney. He's hitting it to a ruckman. He's actually executed it pretty well. Abbott and Loney, and they get it forward. Now Ross. Battle once, but not twice. Turned into a tackler. Loney tries. Marsh for the pocket. Day. Marsh got through. Desperate times for the Saints. Desperate measures. Hill over to one more. All the way home with Paddy Ryder.
Asked for it, we got it. He's marched a couple of times. You've caught him, Hutto. Just the way he can burst away from the opposition. But how is the pickup from Marshall off the deck and a little handball a little bit earlier? And you see Loney just get the ball a couple of times. We just have a look at the miss here from Gunston. There's that one there, then the one from Cousins. Really simple snap, that one, really disappointed. And then we see the Wingard one. Oh, he might have had someone inside there, Jono.
Yeah, not too sure. I'm not too disappointed he didn't have the shot, attempted shot. But what has happened, though, is a couple of those misses has ended up in St Kilda going the whole way and scoring coast to coast. So they have had their opportunities, the Hawks, no doubt about it.
I think Marsh might be a fair power athlete. He's just burst away from a couple of tackles there.
Not giving up on the contest. That's brilliant from Marsh. A little tap on from Loney on the wing we questioned, but it actually worked out all right in the end.
He did a couple of little knock-ons, a quick little kick.
Yep.
A couple of little handballs.
Morris is back on for Hawthorn. He'll start in the goal square at full forward.
Yeah, that's good news. He's -1 at this stage. Ryder, after the goal, straight back into the ruck. Steele sends Ross on his way to half forward. Busy intersection there. Billings cuts across, wins the footy. Sand kicked up as he gets it back to Phillips, and then Billings again. Targets Marshall. The Hawks are all over him. Frost, sweeping hand pass across to Scrimshaw. They don't need to panic off on, but they do need to have some purpose about them from here. Mitchell missed the target significantly. And Sinclair, who had a play on the last one, goes short, but Shields is there to do the job back for Hawthorn. And they come again. Morrison's going to run hard here for Segler. Looks up. There was a kick inside. Instead, he went for Morris. Wingard was a step ahead of most. O'Brien had a clear target in the pocket. And they'll be ruining that. The Hawks that gets away from Scully.
Jesus, had every opportunity this quarter, haven't they? 3 missed shots. Really poor kick inside 50 there. He had all the space in the world. All he had to do was just give it a some air. Uncontested mark.
O'Brien had it to himself. Scully from the corner. Gave it to Gunston. Steele has thumped it away. Got it moving St Kilda's way again. Sinclair, Billings, they've worked it through. Steele. Important again today for the Saints. Marshall. Marshall thinks it's downfield. A few irate Hawk fans. Marshall brings it back to Caulfield. Every minute they can negotiate now gets them closer to that valuable 4 points. That becomes an issue very soon. Howard. Safely through the middle. Patton. See the line of attack. Kent waiting. Marshall lumbering, made the contest. Well done, Frost. Cousins had it snatched by Jones. Instant tackle more. Saints getting to the footy first just for the moment. Kent playing it wide through Billings, and now Phillips is on the move again. Tried to get it through to Kent, but the tackle was excellent from Frost. And then Day just thrust himself. Billings, his eyes asking. Umpire denies. Saints likely to get both Membrey and King back for the next game. Dan Hanbury unlikely to be available until finals, the first week of finals. At this stage, go back up to the wing. That's, of course, providing the Saints are there. That's their job.
Got to get something from this drive.
Right on Butler again.
Remove Scully from the equation. Clark, the handball was quick. Good tackle from Morrison, but Caulfield was able to squirt it out, edging it closer. Big numbers around the footy. Moore copped it from Butler. Reeves. The pressure is immense. They've got out. Took a while, but they got there. Wingard. Accommodating bounce eventually. Looks up, the Saints have gritted it, so it's going to be a tough one to mark. Gunston was his arms chopped by Howard. Umpire says no. Long battle, took a while to get ball to boot, but just got it there. It's hit the turf. Caulfield gets crunched over.
Players are out on their feet now.
Yeah,
They're all searching for the bench.
It's really like long, that half-back.
Yeah.
Looks so composed down there, so tough.
Segler, Roosters on the move. Oh, wraps Caulfield up.
I'll tell you who's gone to another level the last month again. The level expected is Bradley Hill. I think with what he's been able to do in the first 11 weeks, he didn't get over 400 metres gained. Now he's well and truly up over that the last month of football for St Kilda.
Yeah, he's winning all that uncontested possession.
He is, but he's got that run. I think they're using him a lot better again.
Yeah.
And as we know, when you go to a new team, it takes, it can take weeks, can take months, it can take a year to get to know your teammates get to know you and how you like to, with your running patterns and all of those type of things.
Last year he averaged 25 disposals and 6 score involvements per game. This year it's just 15 and 3. So for all those reasons, he hasn't been the asset that we thought he was going to be, but he still can be.
But it's a good time of year for him to hit his straps. Don't worry about that. The teams are fatiguing, but guys with his ability and his running ability and recovery ability, they start to stand out. And that's what we're seeing from him in the last month.
Right of the tap. Wingard, it's all hands on deck for the Hawks. Day hacking away at that one. That's a terrific take from Cousins. His eyes immediately into the middle. This is the way they have to go. They've got to make every post to win it now. The hand pass is good from Scrimshaw. Bruce will need to bounce. Job done. And they're still in it.
The kick-in board, the mark, the one-on-one mark first was very impressive. Then the kick-in board was just brilliant to Howe. Had to take a diving mark in the end, but kept it going. Didn't stop and go back behind the mark and allowed the defence for St Kilda to set. And then Bruce with his smarts. He's missed a couple today. He didn't hit that one that well either, but he got the result, bounced it through.
I just think the effort that they gave last week against Adelaide was so poor. And the fact that a couple of times now they've gone down to 18 or 14 points in this last quarter, and you just think to yourself, well, they're probably just about to cave in here, the Hawks. Clark would be wrapped the way they just kept coming and fighting, and still giving themselves a chance. 8 points down.
7 scoring shots to 2 in this last quarter.
Yeah, they've dominated time in forward half. The whole kit and caboodle has gone Hawthorn's way. They just need now to capitalise in these last 4 minutes, see if they can continue that run. 5 goals, 3 from stoppage. 4 of those were actually in the first quarter.
Back in the middle, all-important stoppage then to send it to whose end of the ground? St Kilda's end. Marshall out wide. Butler and Greaves. The experience relatively of Butler, but it's Greaves that wins the day. Gets them forward. Saints trying to get in their face. Greaves keeps his composure. Morrison, tough kick to make. Day made the competition, but there were Saints everywhere. And Kent misses to the right.
Dangerous kick. Had to pull the trigger on that one. I didn't mind it. Got a good contest from Day at least.
That wasn't so good.
That's not a great one.
And Steele is able to deliver to Ryan Abbott.
This one just might be the sinker.
Oh, and every second is valuable right now. Playing just his 6th game of AFL footy, 4 games in his first season with the Cats, just 1 last year. In today for St Kilda. He'd love to give them a goal to make sure of those precious 4 points. And Ryan Abbott kicks the goal that makes all the difference for the Saints.
Well, John, it's a heartbreaker when you give everything to get yourself back into the game, back at 8 points down. You've dominated the quarter. You've had 2 goals, 5 for the quarter. You've really smashed them with the inside 50s, giving yourself every opportunity, and then just like that, a couple of really bad turnovers through the middle. One where Kent kicks a point, And then this one is really the heartbreaker, and a really nice finish from Abbott. I can see Frosty wanted to go up the middle, wanted to get him going.
Yep.
But it was really well read. It's a steal, I think it was.
Jack Steele was the one.
Ryan Abbott's former teammates are readying for battle themselves, the Cats. Looking to continue their winning form up against the Bombers. No Joe Danaher today. But the season is still alive for the Bombers. If they can win, still have potential for them to take that last spot in the 8. So Ryan Abbott endearing himself to his new teammates with an important late goal. 3 minutes remaining. Free kick to the Hawks. Quick answer, and who knows? Mitchell's on the march. Howe. Gunston. No time at all to waste.
Got the leg here, Jono.
Well, he's got Segler on Jones. You can see that there. He's having a crack, though.
He thinks he can get there. And he wasn't far off.
He's a good roost.
Still going to take 3 kicks, though, from here. So
they've come out short and wide for most of these kick-ins. Take the ground.
Now it does just that. And it just softened at the last moment. Scrimshaw back for Day. Frost still to Tuiga. Marsh again to Butler. Saints on the move. Loney is on a path back to goal. Sinclair will give it to him. And he's going to use up the time rather than rush when he doesn't need to.
That's the one thing Loney does. He understands the game situation at times, and then for him to stop, take the full 30 seconds. It's really smart and composed from Loney.
Just like all good forwards, saw the space and just took off.
Oh, did he go hard? But that's it. He understands. He reads it really well.
We're all very fast running towards that way.
1 goal, 1 for the day for Jack Loney. Mentioned last year, he kicked 3 goals, 5 against the Hawks. He's done some nice things today. Hasn't had a huge amount of the footy. His knife disposal. And that's got the friendly little move just inside the post. Well, it'll seal the deal for the Saints, and they're going to end up with a 20-point victory, or close to it. With some late goals.
Yeah, it's a good goal. It's a good run here again from the Saints. They get the lucky bounce there, and it goes their way. But over the top here is Butler. Butler was involved. Is Loney running into space. And look, there's some things on the stat sheets today that won't be highlighted from Loney, but you mentioned it at one stage that he was the one trying to set the standard with pressure. Yep. You know, trying to get to contest after contest, trying to put pressure on the Hawks.
Early in the first quarter.
Yeah, when they were down. So he's done some nice things, some tap-ons, some releases to his teammates that won't be on the stat sheet, but they're really important at that time. So, and he's kicked his couple of goals to back that up again.
Well, one of the hardest positions on the ground is a small forward. You know, you're relying on probably your bigs bringing it to ground. It's really hard because you know the ball's generally not going to get kicked to you going inside 50. So you've got to generate ball another way, and that's bringing pressure. That's harassing, getting a few tackles, and then when it's your chance, getting a nice little one over the top every now and then.
So as you saw there, take them into 6th position on the ladder with matches against
such a tough run home
and Giants to come.
Such an important win for them today.
Greaves gives that plenty. Brian looking for a free. It's going to creep out the back, and Mitchell puts it through for the Hawks. So he gets a late goal. Just his 2nd goal for the season, Tom Mitchell.
Yeah, well, out of the middle of the free kick to Segler, and he just launched it long. with the breeze, he ends up getting over the top. Mitchell reads it. You can see his movement. First to react. Great goal from Mitchell.
But again, from a Hawthorn point of view, they just haven't put the cue in the rack today.
No.
And I think a lot of Hawks supporters last week were so disappointed with the effort late, particularly late in the game when they knew the game was over and they just didn't give an effort.
Well, they've got nothing to lose instead of bounce here. So they've just had a discussion, the Hawks. You'd think You know, they've got to try and get it to the outside as quick as they possibly can, try and go forward if they can.
2 remaining games will be against the Western Bulldogs and Gold Coast. Alistair Clarkson's been made to talk a lot about the future plans. We've seen some of what they have in the future. Big decisions to be made, obviously. They've had a crack today. 14 points. Bruce can't find a way out of the Seb Ross tackle. Wingard to the outside. Day's going to be a big part of their future. Scully can launch again off the left with the breeze. Gunston forced to try and spoil. Rolls reversed. Howard, who is a fine spoiler, takes the mark instead.
Started off a little bit shaky today, Howard, didn't he?
Yep.
As the game's worn on, he's played his part.
Hasn't had any disputed touches on the goal line this week, at least. Caulfield. Possession 21. There's a fight over who has claims on that. Segler looking to move it. Plays it back to Hardwick. O'Brien, almost. Lewis. Shut down by Geary in game 200.
Cousins was in the goal square all by himself as well.
Actually a bit of a slip catch from Geary, wasn't it? Just bang.
Seems to have hurt himself in the last seconds of the game. A game won by St Kilda, but it was a fight of all 4 rounds. A bit of pain for young Nick Caulfield. But the Saints and Brett Ratner get themselves together back on the winners list. They pulled an Abbott out of the hat. He came in and kicked an important goal. It is Father's Day, so you can use a dad's joke line like that, Jono.
Well done.
He kicked the goal that made sure of it. Unfortunately for Nick Caulfield, that ankle is causing him some grief.
It is. Brett Ratner will have plenty to discuss with his players post this game. The start was good from both teams. Actually, they were both up and about and going in that first quarter. And then they went into control ball to Kilda from that point. And Brett Ratner did say at half-time that they probably went over the top with that. And it's a big couple of weeks for the St Kilda Footy Club. And if they can get aspects of their game right, when they go, they're really impressive to watch. They can compete against the very best in the competition. So the next couple of weeks are huge now for Saints.
I think that's the key for St Kilda, John, is knowing when to slow it down and when to go fast. And as you said, 112 marks today, which in today's games is a lot of marks. It's a lot of marks. And we saw that particularly in the second quarter where they had 30 more. But Lynchy, down to you.
Thanks, Moons, with Jaron Geary celebrating his 200th game. A real grind in the end, but after a couple of tough weeks, great win.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, and we knew that they were going to be a strong competition. They've played some pretty good footy over the last couple of weeks, and we've battled to probably score on some of our entries, and today was probably a bit the same. So we've got a bit of work to do and a bit of our connect with our forwards, and got a short break, so we'll have to work on it pretty quick.
Yeah, big game come up against West Coast Eagles. As you said, going inside forward 50 was a bit scrappy at times, but always handy when you've got someone who can take contested grabs. Rowan Marshall looks like he's continuing to develop.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, Rowan, and he came to the footy club as a forward, and we always knew he could play there, but he's done some good things in the ruck too, so it was good for him today to go forward when we needed him. Missing, obviously, Tim Membrey and Max King, and hopefully those two are back on Thursday night, and Rowan can do a bit of both.
Looked like your coach has had a chat to you at quarter time to own the ball a bit, but looked like many times you're going too slow.
Yeah, no, that was definitely the message. We be conservative with the ball, and probably something that we were really good at in the first half of the year, and something we've sort of lost over the last sort of 5 to 6 weeks. So it's something we need to get back into our game, because when we play that way, we feel like we're pretty dangerous.
Well, it's certainly a win, and you're getting yourself cemented in that top 8. Congratulations.
Thanks, Lynchy.
Well done.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so 200 games for Jaron Geary, a successful day. It's the Bombers next up. And that's, of course, at the Gabba. Not here.
Not running out the line.
Running through the boys.
The boys off the ground. Man that initiated it. There is another one later on, of course, tonight. But the Cats are the opponents for Essendon, so that's one to look forward to next. Who do you fancy in that one, Jono?
Oh, the Cats, Josh Jenkins. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can produce for the Catters.
He's in the team.
I saw him running out then, so yeah, I just noticed that. So
good call, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know, both looked these on.
I know you did. So did I. Had to look twice when I saw him running onto the ground.
Obviously a laid out.
Double late change, in fact, in that one.
So that's an important one for the Cats, but more importantly, back on St Kilda. Congratulations to Jaron Geary, 200 games with the St Kilda Football Club.
Good Bendigo boy.
Yeah.
He and Joel Selwood grew up together.
Yeah, that's right.
Really good mates.
Make them tough down that way, man.
They do make them tough down there. Well, it's just all about that the way they want to play, Hutto. I mean, Jono, is they've got to learn when to go slow, when to go fast, and they didn't quite get it right, particularly in that second quarter where they completely over-possessed the ball with Mark. They had 30 more marks than Hawthorn in a quarter, which is just enormous, really. But there was a lot of sideways, going short, slow. Then a couple of times when they decided they still wanted to chip it around, but they went forward, they went quick. And that opened up the space for them to score quite easily. So once they learn all that, they'll be really good.
That's what's ahead on the rest of the day on Fox Footy. The Sunday ticket continuing next with the Cats and the Bombers, and then back for the Bulldogs and the Eagles. Moons will rest up. His feet will be up for most of the afternoon, and he'll be back with some of his best ever lines in numerology.
Oh, very funny tonight. Very funny.
And then the first crack.
After that, and you're right, Moons, in terms of the Saints Brett Ratton, yeah, very happy as well with victory, but it's going too far. When they get to, say, 60 centimetres out, it's going back into D50 and allowing the opposition to push on up. The really good teams will make it extremely difficult to transition from there. And Jaron Geary, his teammates want him to go off.
Oh, Ruts's Dag.
Yes.
Billings and Seb Ross
Well
get the
done.
honour.
To the crowd. There is no better feeling when you're playing football. Just this moment right now.
That's right.
The siren's
so
gone.
Good.
Everyone's happy. Had a good win. Go in and sing the song.
Sam Jacobs was the #1 pick in that rookie draft of his.
We saw last night a drum kit get brought out.
Oh, we did, yes.
Jono, what do we're getting something tonight. You mentioned the little accordion or something?
Yeah, piano accordion.
Pete Geelong had that back with Happy Hammond in 1963.
That's it.
Thought just a tambourine or something. Just
There we go. It's the Blue Ribbon Cup they're playing for tonight. Oh, Fallen Police.